In this lesson, we will create a new Blazor project with Server Interactivity, which is essentially a previously named Blazor Server application.
Hello, this is Kazimierz Spin. Welcome to the Code with Kazik channel, where I demonstrate how to effectively learn programming and become a successful programmer.
In Visual Studio, click the Create a New Project button, choose the Blazor web app, then name the project Blazor App Server. Now, for the interactivity type, select Server and any interactivity location. In this lesson, I might choose Global and will let you know how it works. I am creating a new project, and you may notice that the project structure remains unchanged, with only changes in the program.cs file. Here, besides what we had in server-side rendering, like add razor components, we also call the add interactive server components method. At the bottom, besides map razor components, we call the add interactivity server render mode method. This enables server interactivity. Additionally, if you go to the add razor components file, there are two more changes. We set the render mode to interactive server render mode for the entire application. So here we have the global setting, where we chose the location, and here we set the rendering mode globally for the entire application to interactive server. Additionally, we also set it for our head component, the head outlet. This is how we declare the interactivity of components. As I mentioned, we can do this globally, as we have here, but we can also create a new component. Let's call it test. Let's add a paragraph, test component. If we want to display this component, for example, on our main page, we can declare the rendering mode for this component in the same way as in AppRaiser. Now it will work the same way, and we can also declare the rendering mode inside our component, here in the header, and then again, render mode, render more, interactive server. Now it will work the same way. On the other hand, here we have a difference in that if we declare it this way, the component will always have this rendering mode fixed. However, if we don't declare it here, we can declare a different rendering mode depending on the situation for this component. For example, we can have two different places where this component is called, and here it can have interactive, e.g. WebAssembly, and here interactive server, and it will work perfectly fine. We can simplify this declaration a bit more if you add the appropriate using in the global imports, i.e. using static Microsoft ASP.NET Core components.web render mode. Now, where you declare the rendering mode, you can simply write interactive server this way, making the declaration shorter. So we only have render mode equals interactive server, and similarly, if you do this inside this component, you can now declare it this way, i.e. render mode interactive server, making the declaration a bit shorter. Thus, you can declare the rendering mode in various ways, and of course, this applies to any rendering mode. Let's return to global rendering in this example. So, I'll remove this from here and go back to AppRaiser, where I'll declare interactive server globally. Okay, now, if I run our application, I can go to the counter tab, and here we already have interactivity. If I click this button now, you'll notice that the interactivity works here. The counter changes on this page. And now, if I go to the Network tab and click on WebSockets, refresh our page, you'll see that we have an active connection here. And if I click the button, you'll see that this connection is through WebSockets, which is why the interactivity with our application works this way. Additionally, if you go to the weather page, you'll see that we also have this table. If you go to the source of this page, you'll notice that the data displayed on this web page is also in the source, meaning this template is also SEO friendly. However, it works a bit differently here, thanks to the initial data rendering, which I'll explain more about in the next lesson.
That's all for today. If you enjoyed this film, be sure to join my community, where you'll also have access to exclusive additional materials and, most importantly, fantastic special bonuses. The registration link is located in the description box below the video. See you in the next episode.